Come with me as I show you the most dangerous anomalies across land, including this one right back here. It's so feared that it's... Oh, wait a minute. It must not be feared. It must be a friendly anomaly. In fact, it's called the Friendly Dumpster. He likes to give you things. You dumpster pearls, don't get rid of them. Don't throw them away. In fact, take them to your matter deconstructor and throw them in there. They'll give you all kinds of goodies. Yo, wait, stop! What are you doing? You forgot to like and subscribe, which will earn you one free soda pop at any Big Dan's gas station. This anomaly that you see here is hot dust. Its best course of action is just to steer clear of it, because if you try to drive through it, you and your car are both going to take a significant amount of damage. As you can see, it's very corrosive. As for sizzling mist, you'll find it in smaller areas, a lot smaller than the hot dust. But when you notice, it causes a bit of electrical damage if you drive into it. Same with the hot dust. I would advise just going around if you can. They're usually not too intense. And if you can see, we also had some of our favorite tourists pop up. If you can, try to avoid them. But if not, they will cause some damage, but the more thing than not, they'll just freak you out as they explode when they get hit. One thing that you can do that some people may know is for the tourists, you can clear them out by using a flare as a so-called distraction. There's also another form of the tourist called the shocking tourist, and it can cause an electrical shock if you walk or drive through the beams arcing back and forth. But just as easily as the regular tourists are distracted, so are these guys. You just have to watch out for the beam that they send across the ground. When you get hit with a dust bunny, it's releasing a cloud of caustic dust, and which will eat away at your body paints. It will damage you over time, and kind of takes over some of your components. It's best just to try to get out as fast as you can and clear them out. For this next anomaly, this one is called the Shaker. As you can see, it's kind of like if Yellowstone were to start to erupt. For this, it's fairly mild. You just have to avoid it. You can drive through it. It doesn't harm you too much. The only time it can cause damage is if you sit on top of it, which it kind of just bounces you in the air. And then depending on how you land, depends on if you take damage and what type of damage. This here, in case people didn't know, is not an anomaly. This is just a limb device, known as an anchor. It helps control the stability in the area. But what is an anomaly is this patch of dirt right here sticking out of the ground. It's known as a bollard. It will randomly come out of the ground. Sometimes there'll just be one, sometimes there'll be a whole field of them. They don't really cause any damage unless you're standing on top of it or your vehicle is on top of it. In that case, it'll bounce your vehicle up into the air. Otherwise, they're just causing an inconvenience by simply being in the way. This little colorful attraction is known as a left to right. As you can see, the bollard is in the center like we previously mentioned, but the left to right acts much differently than the bollard. How the left to right will affect you is if you drive into it, it will disorientate all of your controls, causing it to go forward when you want to go backwards, backwards when you want to go forwards, left when you want to go right. All kinds of havoc. Sometimes it lasts a few seconds, other times it lasts for about 30 seconds. This, my friends, is a spark tower. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it from the first mission that you were given. It sends out sparks in a fairly decent sized radius, but something to note is the sparks come out in a straight line. So if you stand and you draw its attention, move off to the side, it will keep on going right by you as long as you're about 3 to 5 feet away. Or a meter if you're our UK friends. To defeat it, just blow up these tubes, and once all 3 are destroyed, it will stop sparking. Take a trip with me back in time to 1997 when Flubber makes his big name on the big screen. Did anyone else during that time wonder what would happen to Flubber if he ever got struck by a car when he flew out the window or dashed around town? This little buzzsaw of death is called the can opener. As you can see, it can follow a line back and forth on the ground. It seems pretty terrifying, but once you realize that it only sticks to that path, it's pretty easy to be avoided. As you can see, there are two of them here going in two different directions. They don't change paths at all, they just follow their path back and forth. Now I know there's a lot to take in this one shot because there's a whole lot going on all around, but it's not too bad once you realize how to deal with them and how to mitigate them. This anomaly that you see in front of us is called the Glittering Boulder. It adds a ton of power and speed when you drive through it. Now I hope this guide on these first couple of anomalies and their behaviors has helped you learn how to mitigate them. If you would like to see more, please let me know down in the comments. As for me, well, I'm gonna go rewatch this video as it looked like I wasn't taking my own advice.